I'm wrong, Ken. Ken is always right for the most part. Ken is, and I appreciate you, Ken. I misspoke about Zoran being a state assembly. I know, but obviously Zoran was a state assembly, is still a state assembly person, and for the 36th district. So I misspoke yesterday, and I wanted to call that out. And of course, also, I just wanted to correct one other thing, which is that his policy on rent was to try to freeze rents and build more affordable housing and go after more, I think, tax on the wealthy to make that happen. And there is a larger debate out there about how economically feasible any of these policies are, or how much fighting and politicking and partnership building they'll need to get it over the line and into legislation. But if he does win, but he certainly has excited the youth base with, I think, these simple messages around affordability. I'm not going to weigh into his position on Israel or Gaza right now, but I just want to say that it was seen as, a stunning upset, but many people are trying to take lessons from it. I think one of the messages there now that maybe Dems are looking at is this is a sign of embracing that the party wants change, or that certain segments of the party want change and are embracing change. And perhaps that's going to be a line they're going to go with. But there was I can tell you, I got a million texts from a lot of young people who were very excited, and also from friends that I know many people that ranked Lander first and Adrian Adams second. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward if he does win, and if people are concerned about his lack of extensive experience managing the city, what kind of strong team he could build by maybe having some of those same people that were running with him in some capacity. But I think so. Now we're looking at what a four-way general. If Cuomo said he seems to have said he'll keep his options open. He didn't. He said he's on the general election ballot. So I'm assuming he's going to run, but he said he'll keep his options. He has his own party.
He's not going to run.
Yeah, that's what I want to. Yeah, go ahead.
He's not going to run. He said what he said, but I mean, the fact that he conceded so quickly because he knows that he's not going to. The way that the numbers are going to break on the what do you call it, on the
between him and Adams?
No, the way that the numbers run, because it's what's the system called again? It's
rank
choice, right? So the way the numbers are going to break on ranked choice, he already knew he was going to lose. Okay, that's why he conceded so quickly. Okay.
No, that I knew, but yeah. But you think he won't run again?
No, because if you can't win a Democratic primary, you get clocked like this, and you're a former governor and the son of a former governor, okay, you're just not going to win in November. And he's got the incumbent mayor running in November. You have a Republican who's well known, even though he's run before, okay, and he's not really a politician, which is Sliwa, okay. So no, I don't think he's going to make. I think if Adams wasn't in it, Cuomo would definitely make a run for it, okay? But because Adams is in it, I think Cuomo, he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to actually endorse Madami before the election, saying that he wants to endorse the Democratic nominee, or he's going to stay neutral. But I don't believe he himself is going to actively run. Now, his name may remain on the ballot because I don't think they could take it off, So he'll be there, but but he's not going to actively run. Would have to raise money, and I have to tell you, for a guy who was a 2-term governor, that this was a terrible result for him. Okay, yeah. Because a lot of it sometimes is based on turnout, and that means you didn't have favors you could pull, and unions, and political operatives, and your father was the governor.
But they had a They did have a historic turnout, but it'll be good to see the breakdown of who turned out.
I've seen a detailed turnout, Andrea. So
you did?
surprised.
Yeah. Oh, cool. What was
Surprisingly
it?
good about Manhattan, because actually Cuomo did well in Manhattan. He did particularly well, like on like in like the Upper East Side, particularly. Not he did relatively okay on the Upper West Side. And then in some of the areas like Greenwich Village, he got more clocked, as you might expect. But where Mandami really had the biggest margin was in Brooklyn. He had the biggest margins in Brooklyn. And that's because Brooklyn's changed a lot since I lived there. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily surprise me. One of the things I notice, because I know Brooklyn as well as I do, is when you look at, I told you how much Brooklyn's changed. My neighborhood, where I grew up, was Canarsie, was mostly a white neighborhood when I grew up. It's mostly African American now. Cuomo won that with like 60%. He won East Flatbush next door, which is, to East Canarsie, with 60%. Now, most of those African Americans in Canarsie and East Flatbush are homeowners. So they tend to actually, think a little bit more centrist, and concerned about taxes.
It's not gentrified.
Okay.
Right.
Right, but then you look at something like Bedford-Stuyvesant that used to be, when I lived there, again, 100%, almost like 100% African American, but it's been gentrified now, and you got a lot of like white young liberals there. Number one, and Mandami won there, and he probably, I'm guessing, can't tell, probably even won among the African Americans who are still left there, because they tend to be more renters, okay, than homeowners. And so Mandami's, promising rent freezes and everything. And you mentioned the Italian
Okay, this is Congressman John Kitover. I'm in Ben Mendelsohn's Deep State Patriots. He's just posted my YouTube
Italian.
account. We're gonna find out what he has to say.
But now it has a lot of Palestinians and a lot of Arabs. And the thing about the Italian vote, as you probably know, Andrea, in New York, okay, and this is true of even downstate New York in general, not just the city. Italian Americans
Congressman
tend to
elected the
split their
16th district
enrollments
in Illinois,
more
John
between
Kitover.
Democrats and
We are in the
Republicans.
Deep State
So they
Patriots
can't. There's a
Clubhouse
lot of
Clubhouse
Italians who
account
can't
with
vote
Ben Mendelsohn and his
in the
collection of
Democratic
Trump
primary.
derangement
Yeah.
syndrome
Which is why
Democrats.
if
It's
Cuomo,
titled Live from the Brazilian Embassy,
if Adams wasn't on
Geopolitics
ballot,
without the MAGA, and he has
Cuomo might take a
pinned
shot
my
in
YouTube
November,
link.
because all of a sudden in November all the Republicans get to vote, more Italians would be able to get to vote. But I don't think he's going to make a run for it. I think he's going to do one of those two things I said. He'll either endorse Mandami, or he'll just not endorse anyone and stay quiet.
But a lot of anti-Muslim sentiment on X this morning. Do you think that'll make a difference in the general?
I'm not sure.
What was the question, Francine?
Anti-Muslim
Okay, this is John
sentiment
Kitover,
on
Congressman-elect
X,
in the 16th district in
Well,
Illinois.
no,
That's
New York-
Peoria,
New York
Rockford,
City itself
Bloomington,
is
Quincy,
much more
Normal,
Muslim
other areas in
than it
Illinois,
used
in the
to be.
Central Corridor.
And quite
I am running
frankly,
for your congressman.
a lot of
I am in the Ben Mendelsohn
that
Deep
moves out of
State
New York
Patriots
City.
Trump derangement
Okay, so the
syndrome
Jews to the
Democrat
left, the areas,
psychopath
the Jewish
house
areas where
with
Cuomo
Ben
won,
Mendelsohn.
okay, or basically like Borough Park, which is the super Orthodox Jews. Okay,
So somebody's playing
that's
copyright
not,
music.
I mean, they're not going to vote for Mandami. Don't vote for Eric Adams, by the way.
Shit. How is this phone playing copyrighted music out of all the phones? Holy shit, that's wild. My phone is playing
Matter
Creedence
that
Clearwater.
much. In the whole Israel thing won't matter that much, because there aren't enough Jews left. As much as everybody says how many Jews are left in, how many Jews are in New York, a lot of the areas that used to be Jewish are not Jewish anymore. Okay, they're other cultures and other races, and and that's one of the reasons Mandami was able to win. because Mondani would never be able to win.
This is John Kitover,
the New York City
16th District of Illinois, Rockford, Peoria, Bloomington. I am in Ben Mendelsohn's Deep State Patriots. This is a collection of Democrat Trump derangement syndrome psychopaths, low IQ voters, and they have pinned my YouTube link because they hate me that much. I've been getting death threats that my house is going to be burned because I have been recording Clown House for many years now, and they've introduced a new feature called Anonymous that doesn't allow them to kick out accounts, so I'm able to live stream the rooms. And this is Ben Mendelsohn. He absolutely hates me. He called me an F-word loser yesterday. So we're going to see what they say because they pinned it. And eventually somebody's going to say this room is being live streamed.
This is
We're
New
shared
York
by
City.
Ben.
This is not Arizona.
So we're going to see what they say. I'm sure they're going to mention the link. Here we go.
A couple of things, how much, what lessons are actually taken away and applicable for Democrats across the country, and well, depending on what happens, I suppose in the general election in November. But still, I think it's also interesting.
This is Congressman-elect
This
John
was the
Kitover in
AOC
16th
Bernie
District of
endorsement,
Illinois, Rockford,
and they've been
Peoria,
racking in the
Bloomington. I need your help. I need your support. Go to johnforcongress.com. I am in
So
Ben
it'll be interesting
Mendelsohn's
to see
Deep
how
State
much
Patriots.
this
This
ends
is a
up-
group of
their
Trump
the
derangement
messages end up
syndrome
filtering
anti-Americans.
into,
They consider themselves part of the Trump resistance.
overall,
It's ridiculous.
Democratic
And they've
platform,
pinned my
but,
YouTube
I
account
think
to the
it
top of the room.
partly
So
also depends on
they're
what happens
hopefully
in
going
the
to mention
general,
it
but I know
soon.
Scotty
And you're
probably
about to see
also-
the follow-up. Go to
Scotty just put
johnforcongress.com.
something in the chat, so maybe
Yeah,
we could
it's
tell
not.
it.
It's not as clear cut. And many Jews, many Jews, and many Jews I know voted for Mamdani. And I think sometimes we read into this way too much. In that, I mean, I've been dissecting the map for the last 12 hours of the different areas, and it is fascinating to see how it breaks down, neighborhood to neighborhood. Mamdani was, more than anything else, a massive change candidate. And it's very clear because the Islamophobia that you're talking about, Dr. Francine, happened for sure in the last few weeks. Like, if you were a voter, you got bombarded with a lot of shit here that was, certainly veiled Islamophobia, and sometimes outright. We saw the ads. And the bottom line is people are sick of the Democratic establishment. So when they see an endorsement like Bloomberg, they don't give a fuck. When they see an endorsement of Bill fucking Clinton, they definitely don't give a fuck. When they see when they see all the money that is going towards defeating Zoran and not promoting somebody else's message, that backfires. All of the shit they were typically doing to try to sway it towards Cuomo, who was not liked anyway, didn't work. On top of that,
happier.
On top of that, if people were holding out and unsure about Cuomo, there was such a movement, anybody but Cuomo vote, by all the candidates. I should not say all, but a lot of the candidates that were running on the ranked choice were against Cuomo and were even adamant, don't rank Cuomo here, and then doing the cross endorsements, which were very big. But the thing of it is, people who were not sure about where to put Cuomo or whatever, I think a lot of them did watch the debate. A lot of them did watch him campaign. He probably ran the worst, laziest campaign that I've ever seen anybody run for mayor of New York City. He rested on his laurels and his name recognition, thought he was going to coast. It was so arrogant and dismissive of New Yorkers. And when you watch the debate, he wasn't it. People were expecting somebody who was going to be, tough and in control like he was during the, COVID daily statements and all of that. He wasn't it. He was slow. He was not connected. He didn't have any sense of power. And then during the campaign, he wasn't even out there. He was barely out there doing the thing. If anything, he had all of his money